It's a joy for us again to be with you in all the regions of Guyana, especially Region 1 and Region 10. We want to let you know that God is still alive and God cares for us. To our friends in the Caribbean and further afield, we say welcome, and we ask that you stay tuned as we continue this program, and we pray the blessings of God will be on you and your family. So stay tuned. God bless you.
This evening we will continue to look at directions for the nation. We noted that love, last week we noted that love is the key for the development of social trust and ultimately nation building. This speaks to the fact that we need to respect, honor, and position people who can contribute to moving Guyana forward. I think it was last Tuesday at the 2015 investiture, a number of persons were recognized for their sterling contributions to Guyana's development. And in our midst is our own Pastor Wilbert Arlington Lee, who received a military service medal for his long and dedicated service to the military over those years. You know, it is important that we reach out and we honor persons, because this can only serve as a motivator for other persons to want to do well and contribute to Guyana's development. This whole investiture, as I see it, it is a generator of love, because persons recognize the contributions of people regardless of their color, regardless of their race, and the like. And you know, we all have, as a people, we all have our own skills, our own abilities. For example, Colonel Lee, I mean, as a military person, I think we saw teachers, we saw those who contribute to politics, and so we could see the complementary nature of persons bringing their skills together to magnify, if you want, or if you will, Guyana. And sometimes I try to imagine two things. One, we don't have people who, you know, bring those skills, and secondly, people not being recognized, how, you know, how traumatic that can be. And so I think the whole notion of recognizing people for what they would have done for the country is a generator of love, and it is something that we need to consider and continue to promote as we look at this whole thing about direction for the nation.
Permit me to add my voice to the list of those who are celebrating and offering congratulations to you, Wilbert. This, I think, if I remember some of the lines, service, distinguished service of a consistently high standard. I mean, this is very, very powerful, and we are quite familiar with a lot of your work, even though very many times I'm grateful to God that I was not a part of your infantry. Your leadership is unbelievable, and we want to congratulate you. We would like, the set of choices would like to join in recognizing all those who received the award. But closer to home, Apostle Ellsworth Williams and Winston McGowan, it was very, very, very heartwarming to see a nation recognizing sons for their contribution. How could you forget the image of an 80-year-old walking across the stage with full verve and power, talking about the mayor? And, I was particularly touched by his demonstration of energy, even and spirit, as he walked past, outwalked the military man aside to keep him in check. But generally, to look at the legal luminary, Mr. Bryn Pollard, the recognition. On the soft side, I saw our president. There were some of the awardees who had some physical challenges, and to see him leave the exalted place where he was standing to go and reach them, and it was not only my observation, the entire congregation recognized what he did and applauded. It was kind of euphoric, emotional, and it's a good thing. You know, we've been pelting each other with brick and with everything you could think about in this country. It was very good for us to pause and to recognize and to honor our fellow countrymen.
I think also there were those who could not have been recognized or demonstrate any physical challenge because they have gone to the great beyond. And I think one of those was Worth McAndrew, and that is a household name. And it was very good to see that even though they passed, that we in Guyana can recognize them. So we are very proud on this set to congratulate those family members who would have received that medal on their behalf.
Bishop, permit me, there seems to be a power in recognizing and awarding outstanding work and success. It seems to bring not just a feeling of satisfaction, but it provides an adrenaline to even work harder, to go forward. I remember the mayor you described as he walked across the stage. You could see the energy that he used to get from one point to the other. And it reminds me of the scripture, how good it is to say thanks. And as we are involved in nation building, we so many times need to recognize outstanding work across the line, never mind your race, your class, your creed. Outstanding work involved in community and nation building is necessary for the development of our land.
When we talk about recognition, you know, it's very important. And what we would have done just the other day in recognizing all these people strikes right at the heart of what we would like to call the law of recognition, which states that anything that is unrecognized is uncelebrated. And anything that is uncelebrated is unrewarded. And anything that is unrewarded exits your life. So it starts with recognition. Once we do that, this same social trust and direction for the nation that we're talking about, what we will do is enhance the process. You know, add fuel to this process, and then we will see where God is.
What about those teachers in our midst and the teachers who serve? Some serve without recognition. This is a wonderful platform for us to also recognize their work. Was it International Teachers Day?
Yes. Celebrated on the 5th of October.
5th of October. Yeah, that day is a significant day in our nation's calendar. And the 5th of October, we could set that aside to recognize teachers. We have two in our midst, professionally trained teachers, perhaps 3. And we want to celebrate you, bearing in mind the law of recognition. And we want to celebrate teachers like Yvonne Osmond, who for years as a young lady left the bright lights of the city and traveled to the Akawini and did outstanding work in that riverine community for years, and traveling by boat the Pomeroon River into the Akawini, and even though she's now a big girl, she continues to provide educational services to children in the city. Amazing kind of dedication. there are very many educators who work hard. They're not seen, they have never seen the spotlight of glory. But we want to say thank you very much for your work.
Firstly, I want to thank the nation for the recognition and the award that has been given to me. And even though I received it, there are several persons who would have made significant contribution to my own personal development and what I've been able to achieve as a military officer. I think it's a fitting way to bring an end to my military career after 36 years to have been bestowed with such an award. And my encouragement, even as I continue to serve this nation, not as a military officer, but to use the skills and all the attributes that have been honed during that period of time, to continue to serve and to develop this nation. I want to encourage those who may not have been recognized publicly to say that your service has been recognized and to urge you to continue to do well. You know, Teacher's Day on Monday, I went home in the morning and I hugged my daughter, who's a teacher now for maybe 2 years or 3 years. And I told her that she has chosen well. It's a great profession, and I encourage her to do her best, to go beyond just teaching in the classroom, but to pursue the development of the children who will pass through her hands, to encourage them to strive to do their best so that this country can really be developed into a great and powerful nation.
1 Corinthians 10:31, whatsoever you do, do all to the glory of God.
And from the village, that very big village of Sanford. Yeah.
All the people in Sanford who contributed.
Yeah. All those folks from Sanford should really feel proud.
I was going to say, and just to follow up on what you said, Bishop, when you mentioned Akawini, and it is unbelievable some places where teachers work. Some places the land is treacherous. We're talking about, I remember in that same Akawini Creek, you know, going into that creek, which is like maybe 80 miles on boat, and when you pass there you see the black caiman, you see the water dog or the otter, you see electric eel, and you know, all those things you see. And you know what? Teachers brave the terrain, you know, brave the terrain and go to those places and teach. In some cases, you know, when you look at food supply and all of that, so, and these people continue to press in, and so, you know, I would like to join you too in commending those teachers who have been working very hard and contributing to nation building. I want to say this, even though, you know, you might not be on the stage and recognize, nothing goes unpaid, you know. And, the God of this world, you know, He's watching. And He's seeing your struggle, He's seeing your sweat and sometimes your tears, and you will not go unrewarded.
Look, permit me to have an unwilling participant. And if you could really focus in on her. And Miss Evelyn Gulliver is a teacher par excellence.
Yeah.
An outstanding teacher. Paramakotoi in the 1960s as a young lady to 1973. I haven't gone to Paramakotoi yet. Around some of the other areas. But as a young woman, she spent the best years of her life. Listen, keep the camera on her. She spent the best years of her life. She gave of herself to the nation's children. And now she is helping us. She sits there outside of the camera. Man, she helps us a whole lot. And we want to say, Miss, thank you very much. We want to celebrate you. We want to recognize and celebrate. So we're not just saying thanks from the set, but all of us, we speak on behalf of this nation. Thank you very much. Amen.
If I may say something quickly, Pastor. You know, I've gone to several indigenous communities, and the two that really stand out are Akwini and Parmakatoi. When you interact with those brethren there, they are very, very articulate. All of them, you know, that I've gone to. And I believe strongly it's a direct result of the contribution made by those teachers who traveled in the youthful days and made a significant impact into those communities. You know, you check, those people are extremely articulate. Well, Parmakatoi, we call it PK for short, and Akwini. So hats off again to those teachers who journeyed and spent quality time in sharing their life with those.
They are our VSOs, right?
Yes,
they go beyond the call of duty. Sir, you want to say something there?
When the scripture says it's a good thing to give thanks, I reflect on a vehicle that works. And every now and then you have to stop and take that vehicle into the service station and allow it to be serviced, to be oiled, to be greased. And when it comes out again, it runs as if it is new. It seems as if as we work as a people, as a nation, as a community, it is good for us to encourage each other by just saying thank you, by just recognizing the outstanding work, by just celebrating the work of each other. We sometimes behave as if we are so selfish, and if I celebrate you, then nobody will celebrate me. But that's so childish. If we would celebrate each other, it would be amazing how we all will find that knitting, that camaraderie, that oneness to be able to work together. And that is exactly what is happening. I'm feeling so excited on the program just because as a teacher being celebrated.
You know, this is another form of celebrating somebody else. Another teacher, I cannot call her name, but she has the name of a color. She told me that in all her years as a teacher, over 40 years in the public school, she never had one day off. She never took one single absent day. Never. Even to make her children, she scheduled it. Never.
I witnessed something the other day. Coming out of a supermarket, Niger is my name. I saw an elderly citizen about to board the taxi. It was one of the very hot days. And she was trying to negotiate her way in. The taxi driver was comfortably seated. I mean, she was giving him business. And so I held the door open. I saw what was happening, and I quickly doubled up and held the door open for her. She paused and she said, "Thank you, young man." And well, I answered, and she said, "I know that voice. I know that voice. What is your name?" You know, the authority of a senior. What is your name? So I told her. She says, I know who you are. The thing that touched me, when we say thanks, a gesture could do it also. Yeah. By just opening the door for a stranger. But by that same token, what troubled me is the young taxi driver who was getting business. And he, I mean, I don't know if he knows, if he understands. It's a good thing to treat your clientele well. It's a good thing to say good morning. And it's a good thing to come and take the bag of a senior. It's a good thing to make sure they're comfortably seated. And we need to bring that culture of service, of gratitude, of saying thanks, or opening a door, we need to bring that culture again back into our nation. We need to remove from the arrogance and the one-upmanship and the kinds of foolishness that we have grown accustomed to. We need to abandon those things. You know, we got lost the other night. We were going to a meeting and we were trying to find Williamsburg on the quarantine, and we got lost. We got into, was it Rosal?
Rosal.
Oh yeah, or Portmore, one of the two villages. And we turned there and we asked, it was dark, and we asked two gentlemen on the street, we said, where are we going? They said, why, y'all are far, why? Y'all are far. I mean, when I heard that, I thought, oh my goodness, y'all are far. But, you know, if you follow me, and they give the direction, and I was amazed. We were total strangers in their community. Listen, we have, contrary to what people say, there's a wonderful spirit at the bottom there. A wonderful spirit of respect, of camaraderie, and this was nighttime. Our vehicle was not from the community, and we are driving into this dark street. By y'all are far, by y'all are far. Anyhow, they directed us, and as we drove, we followed their direction. We found where we were going. That is who we are. We've always been. We must resist those who attempt to divide us. We must resist those who attempt to exploit who we are as a people, so we can advance.
You know, at that moment of need, those were our neighbors, and they helped us in a powerful way. And that same spirit that you spoke about, we need to encourage it in our communities, in our homes, wherever we go, so that we can able to honor each other, we can able to encourage each other as we continue to build this great nation.
You know something about that trip? You were a driver. You were scared.
You didn't tell me.
Well, it brings us back to the whole the understanding of loving your neighbor as yourself. You know, throughout all that was said earlier, we see this common thread of love being demonstrated. And there was something particularly that touched me, and I think I heard it last week coming out in one of the presentations about complementary leadership.
Yes.
You know, I want to use the example of Pastor Gulliver and her presence here with us on the set.
Yeah.
She helps us to shine. She's not seen, but because of her contribution, we are able to so ably, you know, say what we need to say because of her presence here with us, you know. So when in leadership, as a nation, when we understand we cannot do it all by ourselves, but each of us, we might have our individual strengths, but there might be someone who can come alongside us and so complement what we are doing, not just for our own benefit, but for the benefit of the nation. It will work well for us.
I want to celebrate people like Occupying deceased, Mr. Brown, Miss Carr, Marjorie Carr, so many persons who along the way, though did not achieve or acquire a national award, made significant impact in the life of me and several other persons. Even persons on the set can speak about them. And made significant impact in our lives for us to be where we are.
Yeah.
Our young people need that kind of environment, that kind of leadership where we are able to celebrate the good and provide for them a model, a good model of how they can and what they can be and how to become. And I think as we do that, it's going to work.
Let me add to that list a gentleman who I met as an adult, but he transformed my attitude towards mathematics, Mr. Leo Owen. I don't know where he is. I don't know if he's gone, if he's alive. I don't know. But Mr. Leo Owen made mathematics comfortable, not just to me, but especially me. But I watched this man work students, and when he was through with us, we were prepared to take on the world. And so to Mr. Leo Owen and to all those others who do their magic as teachers, who take eyes that are dull, eyes that are in a complete eclipse, and provide, light, provide very powerful, shining light to see the world. To those people, thank you very much.
Reverend Hassan, notwithstanding the lashes, right? We can celebrate.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
One such person also was a gentleman by the name of Newton Prophet. Met him at the Critchlow Labour College, and that was an institution where persons who have not done so well, you had a second wind. When you go to that college, you came out, and very many in this society has a foundation from right there.
Well, that is my alma mater, and I also had Mr. Newton Prophet as primary school headmaster, and whenever he wore his brown suit, there was trouble in the camp. And a great educator, Mr. Thom. I can't remember Mr. Thom's first name, but I remember him setting a scenario, saying to us, almost prophesying. There are three of us he called in front of the class. And the first one, he said he would be a comedian for the rest of his life. The second one, he said he had lots of ambition, but he had no structure. I mean, this guy was like prophesying. And then he said, Messiah, you're a different one. You're going to do well in this life. And Mr. Thom, I remember when I was in my final year at university, I was walking out one day after class, and guess who was coming in? Mr. Thom. And I stopped. I hadn't seen him in years. He said, Messiah, what are you doing here? I said, sir, I'm in my final year at university. And I said, sir. He said, don't call me sir. What are you doing here? And he told me he was first year. And that moment for me it just captured me. And I wondered, this teacher taught me so much. And here I had moved beyond where he had gone. We want to thank all those for your outstanding work. We want to recognize your work. Please don't stop. One day we want to hear not just from each other. One day we want to hear from the one who matters most.
Yes.
Well done. Thy good and faithful. We'll see you next week. Be blessed.
We thank you for being part of Choices. Remember, you can join us at First Assembly for any of our regular weekly services. I'm Salisha on behalf of the set reminding you that your whole life is the sum of your choices.